Alright, here we have this is a 1999 Silverado 1500, which is the half ton. It has the LS trim, which means it doesn't have as many nice features like the LT has, which would probably be a little more like a premium sound system and leather seats and power seats and stuff. But anyway, it's the extended cab. It has the standard, it's either the standard or the short bed. 5.3 liter V8, and even for the LS trim, it's still optioned pretty good. The tires on it, let's see, what are they? Goodyear Wrangler RTS P265 75 R16s on the alloy rims. A little bit bigger than the factory tires, so I'm not sure if you can actually tell that from this point of view, but because of that, the speedometer is off by about 2 to 3 miles per hour. Got the Chevy mud flaps, you can see. Got some door guards on here. It's got some nice pinstriping. Power mirrors. Let's see what else. Stone shield, deer horns, I don't even know if those work. We put some high intensity lamps in there, headlamps in there, a couple years back. And let's see if there's anything else quite interesting about it. Obviously, it's got a pickup cap. And let's see, open this up. You have a spray-in bed liner, which is held up pretty nicely. Class 3 trailer hitch. It's one of those 3-ball things, and the appropriate electrical hookup, obviously. We got the chrome bumpers on it, not the painted steel. Never had the spare tire down, so it'll probably be a bitch to get in. Right now, there's about 142.5 on this. We bought it with around 30,000, and for the first maybe 70, 80,000, it was used as a work vehicle for my dad's landscaping business, so it wasn't driven in the winter at all. And when he finally sort of took it out of retirement, so to speak, he actually got 2 new work vans, so he decided to just keep this more of a personal use. Let's see, we used to pretty much, we only used it to take it to Florida, which happened to be in the wintertime. So unfortunately, living up in the northern states, we got salt on it. However, we did get it washed underneath it, obviously, get a car wash, got that taken care of, and salt is pretty much only used up through mainly Ohio, so it wasn't seeing salt the entire trip. The underside of it, I'm going to actually get underneath it and see if you can actually get a good look at it. Underside is very nice. Yeah, you probably can't see that at all. It's got a limited slip rear end, which I'm pretty sure is it's a 342 rear end. 4-wheel drive, obviously. Well, it's not true 4-wheel drive because it is limited slip, which has presented some problems in the past, actually recently, this winter. Paint, very nice. Body, very nice. We had some rust work done on it. I mean, probably can't see. Try to focus on this little dent in the hood. Nothing that can't be easily taken out. And there's some stuff like over here got kind of gouged by one of the workers that drove this, but for being used as a work vehicle, and just for how old it is, how many miles it has on it, it's in great shape. And one of the saving graces for actually the drivetrain has a tow haul feature on the 4L60E, and my dad's worker who was driving this, one of his employees, actually used the tow haul because we were towing a pretty heavy Hallmark trailer with this, so it was probably another one of the saving graces. It's got severe duty brake pads on it right now. In the front, a couple years, actually about a year or two ago, we had super heavy duty shocks put in the front. I forget what brand. And then we just had heavy duty in the rear because you're not carrying as much in the back, otherwise it'll just bounce around. It's got some extra leaf springs in it too, which we needed for the trailer. I think that's pretty much it for the outside. I'll show you under the hood right now, I guess. It'll be helpful if I turn that off. There we go. And interesting story about the motor that's under here. What was it? The exhaust manifold. A couple years ago, or maybe a few years ago, we were having some work done on it, and the bolts for the exhaust manifold. Anybody who has these vehicles know they tend to rust prematurely. So we took it to our local Chevrolet dealership. I won't say any names, but we live in Webster, New York, so if anybody lives in Webster, New York, they can pretty much guess which Chevrolet dealership I'm talking about. And the exhaust manifolds, I think it was the one all the way in the rear. The bolt broke off, so what they did is they tried to use an easy out to get it off, which didn't work out too well, so they just drilled another hole next to it. And when our mechanic friend was going through basically reconditioning the engine, he noticed that he measured with a pair of calipers. They were a 16th of an inch away from a water jacket. So right now we have a brand new head on here. Well, not a brand new, it's from a vehicle that had 30,000 miles on it, so pretty much brand new. There's stainless steel bolts in there now holding the manifold on. He went through, cleaned out the combustion chamber, and then I think the intake manifold gasket was a recall on this. That was replaced. I think it might have a whole new gasket set. Could be wrong though. And throughout, obviously except for when it was brand new, our first oil change we did, we ran Mobil 1 fully synthetic advanced 1550 in it, which is a little thick. So about a year or two ago we downgraded to 10W30. Not really downgraded, but right now it's got Castrol, I think it's Castrol GTX Edge. It's the synthetic oil. So inside the engine's you could probably eat off of it if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. Let's see what else. All fluids are checked. It's got DOT4 brake fluid in there. That's pretty much it for anything special about it. I guess we'll just start it up and then the little exhaust door. It has the stock exhaust. It'd be nice to have a set of Flowmaster 40s on here, but that'll be another time. It starts right up. Although, to be fair, I did have it running today. Heavy duty alternator on it. Exhaust. Burns clean. No leaks. Then I'm going to put the phone, using my phone to record it, so I'm going to put the phone down over by the exhaust, so you can hear. Then let's take it for a little test drive. Just for the hell of it. Just washed it today, so it's pretty sharp, I think, if I don't say so myself. I've got these, what are these? I think these are shipping blankets. All the seats. Let's see. Doesn't have power seats, but to be honest with you, from what I've heard, put seatbelt on first. I want to forget that. From what I've heard, the power seats over time in the Tahoes, Suburbans, etc., and its GMC counterparts, for back then anyway, I'm not sure about the new ones, but over time they would actually start to loosen up, so you would slide back and forth and you hit the brake or the gas. Let's see here, we got the standard radio, CD player, heat, ACL works, so the AC system has to be recharged. There's your 4 low, 4 high, auto 4-wheel. 142, 413. Anybody who has these trucks know that the fuel will cut off at 100 miles an hour. And I have not experienced that myself, but on the way down to Florida on the interstate, just kind of test that out. It's not like a huge, like, oh my god, the fuel cuts off. You just go right back down to, and then it'll turn back on, obviously. As far as gas mileage goes, I haven't calculated it out. On the way back from Florida, cruising at about 75, loaded down, we were doing about 15 miles per gallon. And I want to say around town, you'll get maybe 13. However, I think I'm actually getting more. I try to keep it under 1,500 RPMs, which is pretty reasonable. 1,500, 1,600, unless I'm on the expressway, in which case I'm passing someone. I'll maybe go 2,000, 2,500. Don't like to beat on it. I mean, it's a truck, but still, it's not a race car. I have played around with it a little bit. And for a truck, hauls ass pretty well. It's got the tow haul, as you can see on the gear shifter there. And that, I think it keeps it in lower gears for longer when you're accelerating with a heavy load. And that clunking, I'm not sure if you heard that clunking in the video, but I guess on the four-wheel drive it's actually normal, just because you have so many different parts. So many different extra linkages and stuff that tend to clunk. Since we had the new shocks put in and we had the front torsion bar, the sway bar tightened up pretty much to as much as you can tighten it, so it's a lot surer on the road. I would like to get a rear sway bar for it eventually, because you can kind of notice the rear ends when you're making turns or you're trailering. I mean, it's definitely beefy, but it could be a little bit more stable. And there's really nothing I can complain about on this vehicle. It is my daily driver, so I really don't like driving in the winter just because of the salt. However, I do have a car wash membership type thing which washes the undercarriage, so I guess that'll help prevent salt. I think I mentioned that we did have some body work done to it. There was some bubbling in on the rear fender, so we got that taken care of, and the bottom of the door on the passenger side was starting to get bubbled too. So we just figured, to be honest, we'd get it taken care of before they start presenting any major problems. Brakes work nice. It's a smooth vehicle, especially for being this old and for being a truck. Eventually, I'll probably do a 0 to 60 video just for the hell of it. If anybody wants to see that, they can just leave me a comment or send me a message. If I can eventually get the money together, I do want to do a lot of different upgrades to this, such as I want the rear end front end to be posi. That'll be pretty helpful, especially this winter. I mentioned earlier, but I didn't really go into detail. My dad used to rent a barn, basically. Yeah, it's a barn. And there wasn't any gravel or anything back there. And over the winter time, we had to get one of the trailers out, and it had a few thousand pounds of equipment on it. And all it was this was probably back in February or March, so it was just slush, mud everywhere. So we did get a little bit further, but further than we thought actually. But eventually it was just not moving. Even when the trailer was empty, we took everything off the trailer just so we could see, just to see if we can get it to move anymore. But we had no luck. So we had to have our friend come in his Dodge Dakota and pull us out. But let's see, other things I'd like to do is probably a 6-speed eventually, automatic, obviously. Although manual, wouldn't complain if I had a manual either. Pull it back in the garage here. Let's see, I check the fluids weekly: oil, brake fluid, antifreeze, power steering. Tire pressures, keep them around 40 psi. That's pretty much it for this little video I had here. It's just an informational video, I guess. Well, if you have any comments or questions, I guess just leave them. Get back to you as soon as I can, obviously. I'm usually pretty adamant about that. Well, thanks for watching my video.